Good morning. Today is Sunday, July 9th, 2023, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. Basically seeing where Bitcoin went in the past week and where we could potentially go in the future. So starting on the monthly chart as we always do, we are in July now. So this is the July candle, this little doji right here. Haven't really done anything in the past 9 days. So there's not really too much to look at on the monthly chart. So same place we were in last week. If we look at the weekly chart, we go down here. Again, that first week of July, you had this was June going into July. So part of that was June, part of that was July. This first week, this candle right here, we started off the week coming off of a week of nothingness. This is a weird week because we had Monday was a regular day, but also it was the day before the 4th of July, so there wasn't that much economic activity. And then you had the rest of the week. I think you had, I forget which news events came out. Non-farm payroll was on Friday. So really, those were the only major things that could have moved price. Otherwise, things just kind of stayed stagnant. Like I kind of said last week, that's perfectly fine with me. Price doing nothing for a week is still good in the sense that every day that we go on, we get a little bit closer and closer to like the heart of the bull market, to where things really rip off. So as long as we're not going down in any major type of way, we're still in a good position. So I do believe that there is possibility that we could go down and see 2,900 levels again, but I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more once we get into the prediction stage of things. So let me see. Is there anything I want to talk about on the weekly chart? Not a ton, but one thing that I do want to point out is it's important to be in Bitcoin or get yourself into position prior to when things really take off. Because if you look at 2023, so if we just look at, this is all 2023 right here. So starting right here, this is what we've had for the year. And if you notice, let's change this to yellow or something. I don't know. If you notice, you've only had 1, 2, really 3 weeks where prices, shot up in any type of major way. And otherwise, we've just had this type of sideways, rangy action, sideways, rangy to downtrend action. And now we have a little bit more of like sideways action before we really kind of take off again to the upside. So again, you never know when stuff is going to take off. You had your opportunity. You had an opportunity at the beginning of the first, I guess it was at the second week of January. You had an opportunity the second week of March. You had an opportunity in the second or third week of June. So it looks like pretty much every other month at this point, at this rate, we've had a type of lift off. And I think that frequency is going to decrease over time to where it starts to happen every month and a half or every month or every 3 weeks and stuff like that. Again, the more days that go by, the closer we get to the heart of the bull market. And that's important. So looking at the daily chart, again, a whole bunch of nothing. We did a whole bunch of range. Actually, there was a little thing that happened last week. So I'll take these drawings off one more time. This was, still ending in June. And like we've been doing this for about 2 weeks now. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days. So over 2 weeks we've been ranging. But one thing that we did do in this week was this was the all-time high for the year previously. And that came out to be, what does that say? $31,458. And then we came over here on Thursday, woke up that morning and realized, oh my God, we hit a new high. So the new high ended up being 31,500 on the dot, as we can see there. So that's good news. Like we still it got rejected, but still the fact that we made it up there again, even if we kind of fell off, it's fine with me. We came down here on the daily chart and we closed a day right at 30,000, so 29,900. So that's good. Again, this 30,000 level that I've been talking about for weeks is still holding strong. You do see somewhat of a downtrend here. That's not really concerning, but again, this is all just a range pretty much. I think that's all I have for the daily chart. Not too much. This wasn't a super exciting week. Friday, you had non-farm payroll, which it ended up being. Let's take a look. If we go back, non-farm payroll. So it actually the payroll ended up coming below expectations. So the previous month for June, they expected 306,000. They were projecting 224,000. We ended up getting to 209,000. Which if this number is red, it's below this. It's generally bad for the U.S. dollar. And on the flip side of that, what's bad for the U.S. dollar generally tends to be pretty good for Bitcoin. So if we look at Friday right here, let's go down to the 4 hour. If we look at Friday right here, Thursday morning, Friday. Yeah, this is the NFP candle. So, I mean, that news got released at about 7:30. This candle opened at 7 o'clock. So we did see a little shoot off. It didn't really do much for price, honestly. The thing that I realized about Bitcoin is, unlike the traditional Forex pairs like the British pound, Japanese yen, euro, US dollar, Swiss francs, all these different type of things, Bitcoin is pretty resistant to news outside of a couple major events. So like NFP may be one, CPI data for your inflation, FOMC minutes. If Jerome Powell gets up and says something crazy, the market's going to move, but that's, just anything. So yeah, outside of those major economic events, like you're not going to see much. So this was a fake fake out. On Thursday, we ended up coming up here, and this is when we hit that new high, 31,000. And then came down. We came down to 29,700, but we were able to hold based on this 4 hour 50 movement. No, this is the 100 moving average. So this is still held just fine, and we haven't touched that 100 moving average for. We haven't even seen it since mid-June. So coming back, I think this is a healthy retest. The Bears and the Bulls have been fighting very much so here in this territory. So what you want to see eventually, I think what you will see is us to come back down, potentially even down to about 29. I'll say just 29,000. Actually, that's a good point right there. Yep. I think this is a good point. Somewhere in this range, you're going to see a potential pullback. And really, I projected that last week too, as you can see from that green one. So we'll call this demand. It's the last place that we had some type of rocket off of. So we came down, potentially come back down to here, which I think is healthy. You have a confluence. You have a major confluence right here too. If we look at, let's pull a Fibonacci. If we pull it, nope, that's not what I want to do. If we pull a Fibonacci up here, nope, I did that the wrong way. Pull a Fibonacci from here to the high point here. You have three major confluences going on, at least on the 4 hour chart. And you can probably see it on some other charts too. But you have the 0.382 Fibonacci for this big macro uptrend that we've had, or at least the most recent push. You have the 200 4 hour moving average, exponential moving average. And you also have this last demand, kind of this imbalance zone where we created some imbalance right here to kind of fill this fair value gap. We're going to have to come down a little bit more, this imbalance. So I do believe that we could come back down to 29,000. That's not outside the realm of possibility. We could just continue to stay here and kind of range for a little bit more, or we could, like I've been saying for weeks, go up to 37,000. And again, like I said last week, that doesn't necessarily happen overnight. But it is something that, could happen. And the thing is, it could very well happen overnight too. Bitcoin has proven this year and in other years as well that it can just rocket off $6,000, $7,000 in a day or two, and then be just fine. So matter of fact, considering that we did absolutely nothing last week in terms of any real price movement, I'm not changing my prediction. Not changing my prediction at all, just because again, it still stands. And like I said, we're in a better position now than what we were. Every day that we go on that we're not sinking in price is a day that we're closer to the bull market. You're a day closer to the bull market either way. I think we're very much so in the thick of it right now, but that is something that we're looking forward to. So again, I'm super excited. July has historically been a great month for Bitcoin. Again, positive returns in general. And I think even in the last 2 or 3 years, it's been even more so that we've been able to look at. So Like I said, these are my two predictions for last week. They haven't changed at all. We could come down to like 29,000 again. I'm going to be setting some buy limit orders to be able to kind of tap in there just in case, like, we do actually get there. But yeah, that is my prediction for the week. We could range potentially a little bit more here too. But again, like I said, this $30,000 level has turned into a huge battleground. What you have is bulls trying to push price up, but you also have bears who are people who have been taking profit for a decent amount of time. So if we look at this, if we look into Bitcoin and we say, which one do I want to see? I want to see the Bitcoin profitable days. This is the number of days that people have been profitable in this sense. So you see some little red dots over here and then this huge range right here. So there's I think it's about 500 days here where if you bought between late 2020 and mid 2022, you were underwater at this point. And looking at some of the other charts that were on here, apparently about summer of last year was the best time to buy Bitcoin, to start dollar cost averaging at least. The ultimate best time was early November, because that's when we hit that about 15.5 to 16K low. And then we continued on to move this way. But yeah, basically saying that these red peaks are going to become green sooner than later, a lot sooner than what people think. We're going to get back up to those $30,000, $37,000 levels. We're going to get to those $60,000 levels, and we're going to get to the all-time highs for sure. And then this will slowly move to 100%. You'll see this start to increase. And then these will equal each other, and this is going to be 100% for a long time as we continue to advance on in the bull market. So really, that's all I have for today. Not again, like I said, nothing really happened last week, so there's not too much to talk about, but we will get there. Like I said, I'm excited. So I hope that y'all have a good trading week. I hope that everything else goes well, and I will see you guys on the moon. Take care.